Precepts or maxims are a great weight, and a few useful ones on hand do more to produce a happy life than the volumes we can't find. Meaning, we must actually not only try to read, but also digest and integrate into ourselves the sayings, quotes, precepts, and maxims of the great people, men and women and individualities that ever was there, that ever lived and inhabited this earth, such as the philosophers, novelists, authors, painters, and everyone else that's essentially, fundamentally, critically great, significant, authentic, distinct, sovereign about themselves. They should always be admired, recognized, respected, not only as human beings, but also for their sayings, thoughts, writings, and deeds. And we definitely should and must try to read all of their writings and sayings to also produce for ourselves a life of meaning, significance, authenticity, worth, distinction, sovereignty, virtue, and essentially everything else that we want and need in our lives that we cannot find within ourselves, that we just cannot discover and explore about and within our limited education, relationships, goals, successes, desires, possessions can definitely be found in writings, readings, and books of the great people, of the exceptional individualities in one way or another. And that's why we should read as much as we can, not just our own writings, not just these monotonous writings, but also the philosophers, the freedom fighters, revolutionaries, painters, artists, in one way or another, because they are the real sources and reasons and roots of growth, progress, learning, and also for our encouragement, motivation, inspiration in our lives. We had to read them because a few of their words, sayings, lines is going to do more for us than we could ever do for ourselves on the basis of our education, limited knowledge, finite exposure, and relative exposure to society. Because everything that is modern is relative, limited, and is meant to subjugate us. Because the state ultimately respects conformity, obedience, agreement from all of us in everything, not only in just education, but also in profession, belief, ideology, philosophy. And it absolutely hates, disdains, disregards, and rejects or betrays individuality, distinction, indifference, power, character, integrity, morality, sovereignty, and all the other virtues that we develop on ourselves by our hard work. Understanding knowledge is going to be betrayed by the society because that is original, because that poses a direct threat to the very survival of the societal architecture, because individual values expose